we can see how we came to be a country. We can see how we got to Philadelphia. We can see what happened in Philadelphia. The stated purpose of going to Philadelphia was to facilitate commercial activity between private individuals over interstate lines. So how are they going to do that? They're going to do that by permitting the Congress to regulate interstate commerce. The word regulate meant to keep regular. And this is, of course, the principal power that is given to Congress in the Constitution. Of the 16, did you know there are only 16? 16 discrete powers given to the government in the Constitution. Because the same Congress whose charge it was under the Constitution to keep commerce between the states regular decided that it would do more than just keep them regular, that it would influence that commerce and control that commerce. So we start with a very simple case. The state of New York gives a monopoly to a guy to transport barrels from Elizabeth, New Jersey, up the Hudson and into Manhattan. Supreme Court, in a very famous case, says the state of New York can't grant the monopoly. Why? Because only Congress can regulate interstate commerce. And so the court invalidates the New York grant of the monopoly. But in the act of invalidating the monopoly, the court says Congress's power over commerce is plenary, a fancy phrase meaning without limit. Congress can do anything it wants, anything which, in its opinion, will enhance interstate commerce. Well, the outcome of the case was a good one because it resulted in a lot of competition for goods and services and transportation of goods and services between New Jersey and New York across the Hudson. But the language in the case was extremely troublesome. We get to perhaps the most extreme of these Commerce Clause cases. It's 1942. FDR's king. FDR's the president. And his bureaucrats are regulating everything under the sun. So they are regulating the amount of wheat you can grow per acre under something called the Agricultural Adjustment Administration, AAA, and what you can do with the wheat. And they claim the power to do this under the Commerce Clause. Roscoe Filburn is a farmer in Ohio. He grows 11.5 acres of wheat. Mrs. Filburn grinds all of the wheat into flour and bakes goods, all of which is consumed on the farm. That which she doesn't grind is consumed by animals on the farm. So there's no commercial activity. Nothing is sold. And nothing moves across state lines. It all stays on Roscoe Filburn's farm in Ohio. Along come the bureaucrats saying, you're growing too much wheat. Too much wheat? This is my backyard. You're growing too much wheat. He tells them to take a hike. They bring an action against him. He wins. He wins in the Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati, and then he loses in an infamous case before the Supreme Court of the United States. I'll show you the extreme to which the Commerce Clause has been blown out of proportion by the courts and by bureaucrats in the FDR years, and subsequently by Republicans as well as Democrats in the years after the New Deal. Because Wickard against Filburn stands for the proposition that even trivial behavior can be regulated by the Congress if, when all the little tiny trivialities are added up, they might have an effect on interstate commerce. Think of it. There is nothing that could escape congressional regulation if it can regulate that which is trivial, if it can regulate that which is not commercial, if it can regulate that which does not cross over interstate lines, but which, when added up, when put along some mythical, hypothetical, non-existent line, could affect interstate commerce. That's the lesson of Wickard against Filburn. This is the argument that the Supreme Court of the United States and the Congress of the United States, Republicans as well as Democrats, have used in order to justify perverse behavior by the Congress under the Commerce Clause. Oh, Madison somewhere is an unhappy person, wherever his soul is. His body is still in Princeton. Because to Madison, the power that was given to the Congress was to keep commerce regular among merchants moving over interstate borders. How far we have come from that simple iteration, that Madisonian view.